So first things first, marketing is not it's not an expense, it's an investment. That's how every single person should look at it. If you're looking at it as an expense, you're already starting off at, you're pretty much in a losing mindset.
This is the Innovation Room, where we talk about real-life scenarios of growing a successful business with practical applications. We uncover many layers of a business and dive deep into technology, marketing, and sales processes to help businesses innovate and climb into their highest level. Hey everyone, thank you for joining our first episode of the Innovation Room. My name is Robin Alex, and I'm the founder and CEO of Innovate Fast Marketing. And we are creating a new series where we are talking to different business owners, marketing agencies, and anyone who's interested in growing their business and providing different topics and value and a little bit of entertainment along the way in what we do and how we serve our customers. In our first episode today, we're going to be talking about break-even marketing. And to help me talk about that topic, I have Matthew Agostino, who is our Director of Client Success here at Innovate Fast. So welcome, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
You weren't hard to find.
No, it's definitely an honor to be here.
All right, cool. Well, let's get right into it. What are the things that you've heard when you talk to a client about, their marketing budget, what they should be focusing on, and how do you handle that?
Mm-hmm. So when we're talking about break-even marketing, the first component is break-even. What does that look like? For most business owners, agencies, break-even is when total revenue equates to all your expenses, and at the end of the year, you broke even and haven't made a profit. So when we're looking at it from a marketing standpoint, the way you have to look at a break-even marketing strategy is focused on making sure that when you bring a new client in, customer, patient, whatever the case may be, essentially the revenue that you'd be generating from that specific person on the front end matches how much it costs you to bring that person into the door and convert them into a new client. So I need to get used to this. I know it's our first time, so it's going to be a little bit of bouncing around. But essentially, the biggest thing is making sure that whenever you're acquiring a new client, the revenue that you're getting back from it equates the same amount, and then you are breaking even. Now, what amount do you look like from a cost per acquisition? One of the easiest things that we could easily determine if we're running a paid campaign is what is our total ad spend and how many new opportunities have we brought in from that campaign. So with that analysis, that is essentially your cost per lead. That is the starting point to determine your cost per acquisition. But essentially what you need to also figure out, and this is where the math gets a bit complicated, is what is all the overhead, the direct labor, direct materials that go into converting that specific prospect into a patient. And once you have that information and you know exactly what front-end revenue that individual will be bringing into your business, from there now you have essentially a brand new client that you acquired for free, and you've broken even right off the bat. And the biggest thing with that, and fortunately, a lot of businesses focus too much on the front end, and I'm sure you've been seeing that the same. They don't really focus on what is the value ladder, what is that customer patient's journey from a yearly standpoint, lifetime value, all of that. So the biggest thing is if you're able to acquire a brand new client, brand new customer, brand new patient right off the bat, and you're breaking even right at the beginning, essentially everything that you make on the back end is straight revenue to your business. So that's essentially, to me, what break-even marketing is all about.
Great. So as you're talking to clients, it's a big risk, right? Like everyone who goes into marketing or considers advertising for their business, it's how do I make money out of it? Because most people go into the concept of marketing as it's at an expense to their business. Just the cost of doing business requires that you have to advertise. No one is looking at it as a way to make money. So they kind of look at it as, for this business to exist, I have to put money in a bucket and the money disappears. Right? So when you talk about break-even marketing, how is it actually a positive? And how do you handle that from a misconception standpoint that business owners deal with?
So first things first, marketing is not an expense, it's an investment. That's how every single person should look at it. If you're looking at it as an expense, you're already starting off at you're pretty much in a losing mindset. The biggest thing is, well, first of all, before even getting into the different components, let's just look at most practices. There are a lot of businesses in general. There's a lot of businesses that are good with volume, or their business is focused on bringing on a ton of volume. So obviously for that type of business, having a solid value ladder, upsells, downsells, cross-sells to increase the value of that specific prospect and customer is going to be super critical. Obviously, there are businesses that are better on the mid-ticket side of things, where they are a bit better at sales, they know how to handle objections a bit better. And then on the high-end side and high-ticket side, then you have those closers that are closing 10, 15, 20, $30,000 engagements and beyond. So essentially, you really need to understand, one, what type of business you are, what type of customers, clients you're trying to bring in, and then from there figure out what type of leads, opportunities, prospects you want to bring into the door. So in terms of the strategies and demystifying that misconception of this is an expense, at the end of the day it really comes down to how confident you believe in your product, in your service, and your team's ability to continue providing value to your clients, to your customers, to your patients, whatever the case may be, and being able to make sure that that person's 100% satisfied, so they keep coming back over and over again. So from an expense standpoint, let's just throw that in the drain. Let's just look at it as an investment. And investment is time and resources. Resources is one thing, time and making sure that your team is on point in terms of sales and building up that value ladder is going to be it's going to have a humongous impact on the results you get in the long run.
So one of the things that I look at when I talk to a business, with that misconception, is that they are usually looking at their business at a status quo, and they just feel like advertising is just a part of doing business, right? And so working with us, one of the things that we look at is how can we absolutely grow a business very quickly.
Yep.
And so when we take their quote unquote expense, our goal is how do we take that expense and try to bring back through leads and opportunities and actual sales, because we take it beyond what most people do. We take it all the way to the end, right? So if we're able to take it all the way to the finish line, how can we make sure that with their status quo processes in the business, we bring them opportunities through their expense, in which they quote expense, and get their money back. And then we start fine-tuning all the different processes that got us to break even, because if we can streamline that whole process, it's game over, because now every dollar that you spend in marketing, it equates to another $2, $3, $4.
And that's the thing that I keep saying, like the machine,
the
right?
machine, right?
What is that machine? What is that scalable model? What is that financial model for your business specifically? Essentially, when you put $1 in, how much is coming out? And essentially, you should be getting all of this data. Like, we know how data is important. We wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't have the results that we are having if we didn't already have years and years of a ton of data, trials and errors, building up a system. I know we brought in high levels, so managing leads, everything all the way up to when these people actually show up to those businesses. And on top of that, we go one step further by helping these businesses better understand their sales process, better understand their clients, so they could serve them in the best way possible. So yeah, hands down, understanding your numbers, understanding your value ladder, understanding the type of clients you want to deal with is going to be super critical when looking into your numbers. And starting point is break even. Ideally, you want to generate as much as possible. I know we keep talking, when somebody comes in to a business, your goal is to provide as much value as possible. And if they're coming in with something, if you believe that you could make them feel more confident, you could service them in a better way, they better be leaving with whatever they think or whatever they need to feel that way. So just to end this off, one last question for you. So, obviously being a Fortune 10 consultant, dealing with so many businesses in the past, and I know you've been, started your own business at a really young age, and then you've encountered hundreds of different types of businesses. In your opinion, why is break-even marketing and really understanding that concept so important for any type of business out there?
Yeah, it's interesting, working with different organizations, whether I was working for them or as a consultant, everyone had a different idea on how marketing works, but the businesses that were always successful were the ones that understood just that basic math formula. Every dollar that you put into marketing, we need to figure out how it's going to output money on the back end. The businesses that had that as the lead into any point of conversation were the ones that were the most successful. The ones that were like, you know what, we have a marketing budget, and that's what we're going to spend it on. We don't care where it gets spent on or how we spend it. Those were the ones that actually didn't do as well in the long run. And so that's one of the values that I want to bring here in our organization and how we help a lot of our businesses. And you know that very well, right? Like, we need to build that math formula for our clients because they're not used to that. They're not used to an agency coming in and helping them with their numbers.
Right.
They're used to, oh, you guys are really good at creatives, and then they walk away. But they don't know how to use the creatives. And not only use the creatives, but use it in a way of building a machine to figure out that math problem. And that's really one of our X factors here at Innovate Fast. So yeah, I mean, I think that in itself is figuring out that math problem. That's the baseline in how we grow our businesses, and that's what we instill here at Innovate Fast.
Yep, 100% agree. At the end of the day, it's all about the numbers, it's all about the data. So, really good answer.
Cool. Well, thank you for joining us today. We're going to do many more of these episodes where we'll talk about different aspects of marketing, business, and just life in general along the way. So once again, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions about what we spoke about today or any of our other episodes, feel free to check us out at innovatefast.com. You can find us on any social media channel. Look us up at Innovate Fast. And if you'd like to talk to us directly, maybe about break-even marketing or any other topic, maybe an audit of your account or what you guys are doing in marketing, you'll be able to talk to me or Matt and anyone on our team. You can schedule an appointment at customerrush.com. Once again, thank you.